All right, so today on the news, Biden is working on some hate crime legislation for all the hate crimes revolving around Asian Americans for presumably creating the COVID-19 virus in a lab, right? That's what a lot that's where the sentiment is at the moment. Last year the sentiment was for eating all sorts of wildlife, right, which I believe is a lot more credible because I have eaten wildlife before. I'm not proud of it, but I was a starving PhD student and I made some mistakes in life, which led me down to having to eat unusual food just to survive. But I graduated with my PhD and I don't think I got anybody else sick. So that was that. But it made me think about all the ways that we discriminate, maybe not illegally, but for no reason whatsoever, and to the detriment of both the people practicing the discrimination as well as the people being discriminated against. When I was 17 years old, I stopped consuming sugar. I would read food labels. At the time, it was impossible to get the ingredients of a lot of restaurant menus, so I stopped going to restaurants, or I would ask waiters at the restaurant to help me find out what ingredients they made from scratch. Usually, if it's not a fast food restaurant, usually you can find out what they make from scratch, and they'll hold off the sugar. That's usually not a big problem. At the time, trans fat was still legal, and I avoided it. Not a big problem today, but back then, any fast food item is going to have trans fat, right? I distinctly remember there were only a few fast food items I could have, but I did the research. Now, the problem is that a lot of my friends and family members just thought I was trouble. I mean, even though I could handle going out to a restaurant, they just didn't want to bother with it. I don't know why. Why does what I eat bother you, right? I'd go to a workplace event and I would, in my mind, I felt like I could still mingle with them, maybe not participate in the food, but these people just completely exclude me just because I won't eat what they eat, right? Sometimes I'll bring my own food, other times I'll ask questions. People just think I'm trouble, and I'm thinking, why? Now, this one isn't so much of a problem today, but back when I was in high school or in college, on a Friday or a Saturday night, my friends would go out, but they would have a partner, and I always felt like I couldn't go without a partner, and a lot of times my friends made fun of me, or they just excluded me, and I just didn't understand why. You gotta understand, I started college part-time when I was 14 years old, and so there was always a major age difference. I really didn't start to talk to any girls at the college campus until I was 17, and I just felt like I was always excluded just for not having a partner, and I just don't understand why. Now, fast forward almost 2 decades later, I often have trouble getting time off from work because people have disapproval of what I use my time off to do. So a couple nights ago, I went to see a lunar eclipse in Ellensburg. I love to compete in the Computer Olympiad. Sometimes I go to a backgammon tournament. What else do I do? What else do I like to take time off to do? I get very nervous when I have coworkers that are certain backgrounds that would not like some of the countries that I go to. I love Japan. Unfortunately, the backgrounds of some of my coworkers scares me when I mention that I'm going to Japan. I really there was one workplace I really liked. You didn't have to talk to somebody to schedule your vacation. You put it into the calendar. Nobody could rebut with where are you going or how was your time there. It felt really anonymous. Unfortunately, I work in a very close-knit community now, and it doesn't really go that way, and so people will dig to find out what you're doing, how was your time, and see, I really wish that I could tell people I'm going to see a lunar eclipse. Oftentimes, I just have to go and kind of suffer, come back and still work the next day. I wish I could tell people, hey, I'm taking tomorrow off because I want to see a lunar eclipse tonight, and let it sail, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. People just don't see that. See, I just don't understand. Why won't you accept me for what I eat, who my relationship status, and what I like to do for recreation, right? Just like you would accept me for being Asian, right? See, even my parents made this mistake. So when I was 17 years old, my parents worried for me that people aren't going to associate with me for what I eat. But think about it this way. If people hate you for being Asian, you don't go out to get surgery to change your race, right? Or you don't change your religious patterns. You do things to gain acceptance, right? You do things to change the stereotype, right? Why doesn't it work that way for what you eat, who you love, and what you do for recreation, right? I just cannot understand. I really can't. If you feel the need to discriminate for these attributes, please leave a comment for why you discriminate. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm just trying to find out why. That's all. Thanks for watching.